listening when I first was doing my research, because I'm a classic guy. I do research, as you can tell by my Bob Marley tapestry. I'm very research oriented.
Hey.
Hi.
Oh, producer Jane.
As always, Jane.
Hey, nice to meet you.
Jane, a rare sighting of Jane on camera. The middle son of a gun.
Started.
All right, guys, welcome. Episode 10, a very special episode 10 of This, That, and the Other. If you're hearing us for the first time, which you probably are, which is awesome because we're officially on iTunes.
Dude, we're on Spotify, iTunes.
I mean, it's small. You can send an email, get shit done. We could have a podcast about tree bark, and submit it to iTunes and Spotify.
Yeah, honestly, it's if you pay for it.
But hey, it's something. It's a notch on the belt. You know, I'm proud.
Dude, we've been downloaded, 22 times?
Hey, it's the part of the come up.
Hey, 22 times within the last week. I mean, that we've been up. I mean, shout outs to Alaska. Big shout out.
Yeah,
who
for
showed
some
up
reason
out
people
of
are born in
nowhere.
Alaska.
Two random people in Alaska who
Right.
probably, were looking up colloquialisms or misspelled something. So.
They're just snowed in. They probably went through all the other podcasts.
It's not a whole lot.
That'd be funny. All right. So I'm Bryan. That's Sam. And today we have
James
a very, very special guest.
Thanks for having me, guys.
No problem. Thank you.
This guy.
Thank you.
James Mason, right? I want to make sure that
That's
I
right. Yeah.
No, it's Masson.
I was going to say Mason.
Masson.
I just felt like that was just, you look like a Mason.
I mean, I guess I'm half British, so that's a little bit of European.
That's very European.
You can throw an accent in there.
Yeah.
James Mason.
I was going to say maybe a little Ethiopian in you, but,
Yeah, like 0.3%.
Yeah, that's what 21 and me said.
I'll claim it.
So Mason,
I'll exploit it.
So what's up, man? It's nice to meet you finally.
Yeah, nice meeting you.
He talks a lot about you.
Yeah, we
I'm like James.
have had a great friendship, so far, which started out just with me coming into the shop and getting poked and prodded, and it's turned into, I think, it's really, really great friendshp.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, dude. I've known you for now almost 2 years, right?
Yeah.
And it's crazy that he, at the very beginning, and again, well, real quick. So James is the front man. I'd like to say so based on my research. It all kind of generates from you, and then sort of everybody else kind of comes in. You come with the music and you come with everything, and you and Eric, I believe, if
Ethan is our producer. Yeah, I'm close.
I got all these. I just don't want to look at the phone
It was an E. You were close with the E.
I sent a lot of notes to everybody. The whole team got the notes, but you're kind of the center point of it of Paperjackets.
Yeah.
This sort of dope ass alternative.
Yeah, alternative.
I guess, kind of. They give it a whole bunch of labels.
Yeah, pop.
But it's on it. It's nice. It's funky. I like it. I'm a big fan of, personally, 1985 is my favorite song.
Yeah.
Has this real sort of country vibe root.
Yeah, it comes out. When the track starts, you kind of think, okay, like this is like sort of maybe folky. It's very acoustic, and then you get these really big sort of contrasting choruses, which I think are exciting.
Yeah, and this is, of course, off the EP "Don't Lose Your Head."
Yes.
Recently re-released by Selma Records.
Correct.
Yeah,
Wow.
which is really cool.
You
So
see, we do our research.
That was really good.
about 6 months since it's originally come out.
Yes.
From what I understand.
Yes, we re-released it on Selma, so, actually having the support of this label, having the support of our other partners.
I felt like I had a hand in it because you kept sending me things or being like, "Here, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think?"
Before we got the deal, like the actual real deal, and like the support that we needed to do this video and to put out the music and to put it out properly. I think that's really the qualifier. It's like anybody can go on TuneCore and or whatever,
or throw whatever up.
Put whatever up. But when you start actually servicing the records, radio, you start servicing, and doing all the support around the release is when you start to see like really exciting things kind of come to light with that release. So,
Dude, doing that music video looked really fun.
Yeah.
It was wild too. Like they spent most of the budget. Like I was talking to the producers and stuff, and they're like basically joking around how nobody's really getting paid. This is just a really great, a great budget and a great video and an opportunity to. We had like a motorcade.
Yeah.
So like two police in front, whichever way was front here, and two police in back on bikes. And there was this huge flatbed trailer that was being pulled around downtown through, mostly just like you're
Like anywhere specifically? Like I was trying to pinpoint it while it was going through, and it looked like it was all over the place.
It was all around the historic, like downtown sort of historical, like
kind of like where the Murder Hotel is, where Richard Ramirez was. Like
it's all those like lofts you see.
I mean, those are gorgeous,
and those big old buildings that used to be back in the 20s. I don't know, like in the industrial part of the industrial sort of revolution sort of vibe.
Yeah.
And then now they're all converted into like these sort of hip lofts.
Hippie lofts.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Damn
tents in the streets and
hippies.
hippie lofts.
Out in Alaska.
The tents in the street is a real contrast to the hippie lofts. I mean, like it's weird. Like I feel like Skid Row is like the main drag of all that. But you still see it like, under bridges and any chance. I mean,
People made their homes like,
Yeah, I would have a hard time trying to fall asleep.
It's crazy.
But
cockroaches and rats and
just other homeless
Just
people.
the
You never know.
situation,
Like,
yeah,
what are they
like-
gonna do? What
What are you gonna do? Go to the police and be like, "Oh yeah, my name is Tim."
dude, homeboy can walk up with a rock and smash your head and be like,
Three
right now
cents.
his shit's my shit.
Well, I've always had this idea, like
like
if
Mad
it all
Max.
went south, I would just go and be a hobo and then become like a hobo king.
Right.
Instead of like, teach other hobos how to read and shit and like
you'd be the
them.
hobo
Become like-
Jesus.
become like a
Like
street.
teach a man to fish.
Yeah, he'll fish for you, and then bam, like become a true like gypsy king, and then have legends about me, and we'll hunt down like bad people as little groups. Of
You've
thieves.
thought about this
Like,
for a while.
I'm on it. I have it written down.
But anyway, back to the music video.
Well, I
you had
do
a
want to
trailer.
say the name of the music video is Trigger. Recently popped out, directed by, and I'm gonna say it wrong, Ivana Boren.
Oh, you said it right.
Really cool about her. She actually directed a Bon Jovi music video.
No shit.
It was for Labor of Love. Back in like 2012 or something.
I didn't know this.
Yeah, she is. I don't know everything about Ivana, but I know either her dad or uncle or somebody in her family close to her was like a well-known director, producer.
Okay.
And then so at an early age, when I first saw Ivana, I didn't know it was her because she's so young and pretty, and you just don't think. I mean, I'm not trying to like gender norms here, but
be free here. There's like two people listening. You're good.
Right. I just was surprised that she was. It wasn't what I was expecting, but she's a true artist. And her husband Frank Boren is also a well-known producer around town. And so they've co-produced,
So it was a cool experience overall.
Super cool, yeah.
Yeah,
nice.
especially.
Dude, how did you not fall off that fucking trailer?
There were a couple of times where like I fell back and like caught myself and kind of fell down, and it was like literally this much space between me and the actual road. So, but had like I'd not been standing just a few maybe feet. But no, there was a couple times because what will happen is, and part of the reason why they have the motorcade is to kind of control like all of a sudden someone stops, or if a light turns from green to yellow, and instead of
they're like a buffer.
They'll like stop the traffic and like throw on their whatever siren. And it's like, so there was a little bit of that, and in the behind the scenes, I know it's kind of fast because it's sort of like a
it's a little sped up.
But you can kind of see, especially when the drums are on the back. So they give each person a chance to do like their one-off,
which was really cool.
And but when they set the drums up, first of all, like the stands and everything, you're like, how is it that these aren't like moving or falling? So they had to do this thing. They have this special like sort of metal mesh thing that they kind of like strap each little piece down to.
Oh, wow.
But when he's on the back and he's like playing, he's literally like, there's no room for him to live.
Just like you in the corner right now.
Right,
there's no room.
So I remember looking at him, and he's like keep looking behind him. And
he's like, oh shit, not as rock and roll as it
gets.
gets.
Definitely happened. It definitely could fall. We weren't moving too fast on the flatbed.
But that shit'll hurt still.
Yeah, one thing that's interesting about shooting music videos that people don't really talk about is they make you do the normal performances in real time of like how you hear the song.
Yeah.
But then they also make you do several times over. It's slowed down to like the point where it's like, you could be my trigger.
Oh.
And it's like you're having to perform. They want you to perform like you're still in real time, but like your mouth has to move slow,
to the way,
super slow.
That's crazy.
And they also do one where it's like sped up, like really, really fast. So that they can go back and like manipulate, I guess. Like
to make it look like that video.
You could see that a couple times where they've done it, and it actually looks really cool. It's like it kind of tricks the eye or something.
Yeah,
Because
yeah.
everything else is moving fast, but like the mouth and like how I'm singing it looks like
So
normal.
cool.
Did you have an earpiece or did they play?
So that's another thing too. They blast it from the back of the trailer. So like there's the flatbed and then like where it hooks to the truck. They've got these speakers and they are blasting it through downtown. And you have to you kind of have to stop and go, okay, like this is happening. Like people are hearing this. People are wondering who the hell this guy is on what is he.
But you just got to put that out of mind.
You have to, because at first I was like, man, I feel really weird. I feel kind of almost like
And
exposed.
you guys are kind of out
So-
there, like almost like a live performance.
Totally.
You know, and you guys are great live. The clip that I saw online was really cool, and I'm personally going to try and go to the show.
Yeah.
By the way, and we're kind of all over the place. We're so new at doing this.
Yeah.
I do want to say, Paperjackets also consists of Emily Dickinson. I don't want to forget the rest of the
Oh,
band.
no,
and
yeah,
kinda
yeah.
go
Yeah,
over
Emily's
that.
really cool.
John
I like
Vesely, if I'm
Yes,
saying that
yes.
correctly. As guitarist, bassist Miles Franco, backing vocalist Amy Prowell.
Yes.
Oof. All right. And drummer David Allen, the man who almost died. So, that's the whole team pretty much. And the reason I mentioned it at the beginning is because we're going to kind of be more about you, but I don't want anybody to think
Sure,
that
yeah.
we're forgetting sort of the team.
The team,
as
yeah.
it stands.
And we've been super fortunate to have that team, and it's been a roller coaster. Like, luckily, the three of us, Johnny, Emily, and myself, met pretty early on. But
Yeah.
I mean, I tell you what, like the whole like fishing for good drummers in LA. There's a lot of people that play drums in this town, but I mean, good.
Yeah.
God,
No,
it is
drummers
like-
are those. If
it's
you're
tough.
not 100%,
Right. And there's this joke about like whenever we get paid, there's like a joke that we should just take $1 and then give the rest to the drummer.
Oh,
kind of
wow.
like as like a
yeah.
there's just that sort of joke because
He's like, it's a joke. I wouldn't do that.
it's
But it's good humor.
but yeah, no, that's sort of like the idea behind
That's
that.
amazing. I've never really done any like band, as far as like a drum and like
Yeah.
a 3-piece or anything like that. Play a little saxophone,
Sure.
Play a little skin flute.
I got lucky. I'm sorry. I'm doing
no,
my
you're
thing.
good.
He wants me to
We're
do
not-
laugh tracks
No,
and
I was
shit.
joking. This is a real. This is a real interview.
I've been really lucky growing up because I've been in a few bands, but luckily my cousin was a great drummer.
Yeah.
And I just happened to be lucky that I had a cousin that was a great drummer, so I never really had to deal with like trying to find a fucking drummer.
Yeah, or just like you kind of get past this point of just being nice to people,
Yeah.
because you're like we can't sit here and wait for this person to like automatically be 10 times better than they are. You
Yeah.
know? And especially like our bass player Miles, he's like really like, okay, are you or aren't you this drummer? Are you or aren't you capable of playing in this band? So luckily we did go through maybe like a handful of people at the audition or whatever.
Yeah. Were you present at all of that?
I went to the first one, and the guy David was supposed to show up to that, and I always give him shit because we had to like go through 2 other people that did come and kind of give them sort of the decency and respect of like,
Yeah.
okay, come in, learn it. Oh,
Because you never know. That could be a Jimi Hendrix or something insane. Yeah.
And there was a guy, like there's been plenty of guys that are good, they're great. It's just like maybe their background is in heavy metal, maybe their background is in you kind of we were really super lucky to have David. And
That's
anyway,
amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Not to brag, but
But no,
pretty
and that makes
great
sense
team.
that your bass player's on top of the rhythm section
Yeah.
because like that's
It
important.
can just bum everybody out, and then you don't even understand why things aren't going well. It's because the drums aren't
That's crazy.
aren't there. You can even have a band who sucks and a great drummer,
Yeah.
And
it's like okay.
Blink 182.
That's a great example.
The zingers.
No, I'm just saying.
We're really getting raw here,
I'm
ladies and
just
gentlemen,
saying.
on this, that, and the other.
They had an amazing drummer and mediocre everything else, and they fucking.
Yeah, I like
Yeah.
it. I like a scuffle.
So
Yeah.
I remember right before, being a fan of that band when like Dude Ranch came out and the records like Cheshire Cat and all that stuff, and still being into it, whatever. But then like when Enema of the State came out and Travis was like just killing it, you could definitely tell like the band had fully.
He was at a different level at that point.
Yeah,
and
and I think all their songs and stuff started getting better and
They
whatever.
have catchy songs, but the drumming was so.
It was good.
so pop.
Yeah.
pretty crazy. Pretty
Yeah.
crazy stuff to see sort of how they and like Green Day and everybody sort of kind of went through an evolution.
He's doing a
But
lot of rap stuff now.
Speaking of evolutions, though, let's evolve into weekly update.
Oh, the weekly update. Okay. Cool. All right, hold on. Let's make some music for the weekly update.
He's trying. We're training him.
Oh,
he's getting there. He's a great tattoo artist. Really bad at soundboards.
Hey,
I think I'm doing pretty good at this.
You're doing great. You're doing great.
But so, weekly update.
So let's get you out the way. How's your week been?
My week was cool. I went to Vegas for
Went to Vegas.
a good buddy of mine's wedding.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it was my first time in Vegas. I've never been.
Oh,
wow.
yeah?
Yeah. Honestly, okay, I love Cirque du Soleil.
Oh, yeah.
Took a bunch of edibles.
Okay.
Checked out Cirque du Soleil.
All right.
Blew my mind.
Totally.
It was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah.
But it's not really my town.
Yeah.
Turns out he was just watching hobos on the street,
Right.
like
You're just
performing street.
hallucinating.
He was like, "Oh, Cirque du Soleil!"
No, it's cool because we bought cheap tickets and we got there. They're like, "Oh, it's not a sold out show. We got
I love when
tickets
that
in the
happens.
front."
Oh, wow.
And I was like, "What the fuck?" So
Yeah.
they sat us like right
Oh,
there.
wow.
Or like when you sneak into or you buy tickets to like a baseball game and you're like up in the nosebleeds or a football game and then you're like, fuck it, I'm going down there.
Yeah.
And sit
They
the
try to
whole time.
stop you at that that halfway point
Yeah.
and to check your ticket and stuff.
Yeah.
You just
it's
gotta
like-
wait till someone gets
And
distracted.
then just kind of, yeah.
Some 60-year-old
But no,
retiree.
it was cool. Next time I'll probably go to downtown Vegas. I heard it was cheaper and just as cool.
Yeah.
There's a zip line I wanted to do.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, a zip
And they've
line.
got that thing. It's like a giant Ferris wheel where you can basically like get in there,
Yeah.
party, whatever. You get like
That's what she
full
was-
ceramic. or
Jane, what was that
panoramic.
called? The big Ferris wheel?
Us.
Oh, okay, that's right.
Yeah.
It's pretty
Well, wait,
cool.
Jane, you took Sam to Vegas?
Yes, I did.
Hey, that's messed up. I thought I was employee of the month. Goodbye, Jane. That's
Bye.
Jane. She has to leave early. Jane, our lovely producer. Happy 10th episode, Jane.
Happy 10th episode.
Happy 15th or 16th overall real episode.
I'll be back.
Take care.
That's awesome. Pretty cool.
Yeah, so it was cool, but again, it's not really my town. I have to go back in a few months. We have some badass tickets at the MGM, so I'm going to stay a couple
cool.
nights. But I'm not a gambler,
Yeah.
you know.
Perfect insert into the MGM, sponsor of today's episode. MGM Grand. When you want luxury at an extreme price, and I don't know.
Yeah.
They're not real sponsors.
They're
But
really
we'll
not
get
responsible.
them there.
They're gonna sue
You
the
could
shit out of
could
us.
get us to sponsor you if you
want-
want, if you tried hard enough.
MGM.
Yeah.
Step up.
True
But that's
luxury
that
at
good
extreme
week
price.
update.
Yeah, it was a good week. It was really good to see my old, he's a best friend of mine, Stephen Colley. Congratulations, him and
Best
Heather. They had a wedding. I got to see his family. I've known him for
Nice.
years.
That's
so
awesome.
It was nice.
Weddings are nice.
Weddings
you
can be
gotta
fun.
love when the family gets together, gets a little too drunk.
Right.
Shotgun with the
Well, his
bridesmaids
family,
behind the
that's
bar.
every time we get together. They
Yeah,
always
it's a
throw
little too much. They're about it.
They're about.
They got a
They're
little
as
Irish
Irish
in
as
them.
it gets. They're so Irish.
That's pretty baller.
That's as Irish as it gets.
I want to get buried like I were Irish, but I want to get sent off like I were a Viking.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, so they're within sort of. I don't know. I wonder if there were Irish Vikings. You know. Which would
But how
be
was your week?
interesting. Pretty chill.
Yeah.
Pretty just pretty basic. Just catching up on stuff and doing a little bit of writing. I'm working.
Catching up on that writing.
Yeah, catching up on that writing. I'm a little behind on it, sometimes when things kind of slip by, and I've never been as impressive as someone over here always, gunning 100%, knocking it out the
right.
park. Yeah, when it comes to just like script writing and
Right.
pretty much everything. But
Were you
kinda go
also into
ham.
that as well?
well, yeah, the only reason I came out here, kind of partially, other than us kind of, being on the same page and kind
Right.
of encouraging each other. I sold a script when I
Oh.
was in Arizona.
Cool.
And it was like one of those things where you're like, well, yeah, and then you do it, and then you're just like, oh, like shit, like you can do it, like people can do this, like people will be willing to buy. Whatever it is, like it wasn't anything big, what I'm
Right.
saying. Like,
Wait,
sold it
I
for, like,
love the story. It was about gay spies.
it was pretty cool. It was a cool thing. Like, so apparently, like that's the ending. You don't know that they're gay spies at
Right.
the end, but like it starts off as like two spies versus each other, and then they like
Right.
go on like a mission to kill each other, and then at the end, there's a third person who shows up, and he tries to kill them, and then they kill him, and then at the end, it's revealed
That they're
that they're lovers,
Right.
and it was all a game to decide who gets to massage the other person.
oh.
And someone bought it, my guy. Someone bought it. Hey, mad shout out to my boy Will Jackson, I love you so much. I really hope that I get to get you on the show too, because it'd be really great the next time that you're out here. Really great guy. He's a former cop, former detective. He's been in the business for a hot minute. But really amazing. I got him connected through Eli Zephyrin out in Miami. Big shout out. But if it wasn't for those two guys, I don't think I would have had sort of like the husband to like do it, or because once you sell it or you actually see that someone's willing to back you up with something, you know, that's when you're kind of like,
I can write and make money.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah, I'm gonna move to LA and make a go at this. So
exactly. And so I had no kids. I was young, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm still young. We've only
that was only a couple
like
years ago.
A year ago, 2 years ago.
No, but that's right on. I think that's really all it takes. It's just a little encouragement, a little support. And just, you know, passion.
A little bit of believing in myself.
Right.
Believing in the words. So, yeah, no, I did that. And so I've been trying to get back into that because I've slacked on it a lot, you know.
Sure.
And, you know, when I first came out here, I was working a corporate job and it was 9 to 5. And, you know, after a year, I was like, wait a minute, what am I doing here? Like,
it feels like almost you have to put yourself in night school to take care of your day school, or, you know, like you have to, like, of course you got to, you know, make money. And I think it's actually great that you have tattooing as a form of like,
and it's night.
Yeah.
You know.
And then, you know, but for everybody else, you don't want to work at McDonald's or wherever. So
or
you work some kind of nice, like maybe respectable 9 to 5, right? And then by then you're sitting in traffic for an hour to get back home, and you're exhausted, and you probably don't want to pick up the pen or the guitar or whatever.
Exactly. And you still have to go work out, you know.
Right.
You still have to like take the dog out.
Just to live in this town, just the price of admission in this town is essentially like all your time and energy. Where's the time and energy for my art? Or, you know,
that's why you hear all the success stories where they were living out of their car until they hit it big. It's like that's what it took. They were living
get that time.
Yeah.
They're like, hey, you know, you want to get in, and you're like, yeah, I want to do my stuff, and they're like, cool, but you got to leave your stuff at the door.
Like, but like you said, it's the time. It's time. There's not enough time in the day to make the money to do your thing.
But yeah, so then, you know, that's what happened, and then I finally was like, you know, I can't do this anymore. Like, I need to. Yeah. So I left that job, and thankfully, thanks to Postmates. Oh, perfect segue. Oh, nice. Yes, Postmates. Today's episode is brought to you by Postmates. Drunk at 4 o'clock in the morning and you're on too much coke? Call Luigi's Pizzeria through Postmates. You didn't really follow my. Oh, okay. I was like, hit me with some background music for Postmates.
So how was your week?
Yeah,
it's good. It's good. I you know.
Give us money, Postmates.
You know, I actually used them. I used them last night for Papa John's. Actually.
Hey!
It was like, what's funny is it was like super late too, because I had just gotten back and I was like, man, I should just eat something, right? I don't want this all just sloshing around, you know, waking up in like a sweat, you know, from not eating. So yeah, but yeah, Postmates is great, and I don't know where we were going, but my week has been really, really great. On Sunday night or Monday night, Tuesday night, and when
Tuesday night,
went and saw Sam and got some more work on the sleeve. So
we're gonna have.
We are literally almost done with that whole sleeve.
It feels like
it's gorgeous.
Just really, thank
you. For you guys on the podcast, if you want to check that out, go check the Instagram. We'll have a couple pictures there for you guys, so you can see it.
Or join my Instagram.
Or do that. You can plug that. Yeah. I'm over here plugging Postmates. Yeah, we could plug.
Yeah, we could actually plug like real
something
people.
That's real.
They got enough money, Postmates.
But it's been been great.
Pretty good week. Pretty good
week. You know, I was just telling Sam I drank more than I probably should have the last couple nights. Had one of those intravenous like IV drips.
I've always wanted to try that.
Very cool.
And it definitely helps, you know. But there's like two parts of it. I think there's like the, you know, dehydration, exhaustion, you know, like sleep deprivation or whatever side of it, and then there's just like straight up like the fact that we're like not 19 anymore, and even though like I still feel like I can
look 19, even though you look 19,
yeah, it's just true. And my wife's a little younger than me, so like the last, let's just say 8 years, it's always been like, you know, oh yeah, like my wife and her friends, they're going out and they're partying all night, and I kind of feel like I'm still in that group, but I'm definitely not. Like I'm just not, you know. And there was I think maybe in the last 2 or 3 years, like when I was like 31, 32, it was just really apparent. And I'm like,
oh snap, you're I thought you were below the belt like me, below 30.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Oh wow,
yeah, because I'm below the. Oh yeah, I'm a little scruffy right now.
No.
I look 40 with the scruff.
No, but the trick is when you're out drinking with friends is to have a glass of water in between each drink.
Okay.
That's a good measurement.
Yeah, that's what I usually do.
and that works out okay.
And it helps out.
Rock an IV bag like a camel bag.
Yeah.
Right, and just
have that
directly
already
in.
there. What comes in goes out, comes back in.
Very sanitary. Yeah, gotta.
Never stop. Party till you die.
No,
I
but
feel you.
that's more water.
I find
Yeah.
I find the trouble with that is I have a really small bladder. Like
Totally.
You know, like a week and a half ago, I drank too much and got
You went through the motions of
of being a drunk and
Yeah.
just
It sucks.
just drinking
It
too
sucks.
much and but I didn't drink enough water, and because in the back of my mind I'm like, if I gotta drink all this water, I gotta keep running to the
Right.
bathroom, and like, what if I'm talking to like a babe?
right, and you're having to pee, but you don't want to like go run to pee.
Because if you pee, she's like, he's got an STD. Because if he pees, he has an STD. Is what they teach you in
that
middle
right?
school.
What?
That's what they say. They no.
Wait,
They don't say that in Austin.
Wait, so if you pee too much?
I guess maybe, or if you have an irritated, genitalia.
Oh yeah, you pee more if you have an STD.
Well, I get that, but what does that have to do with you drinking too much?
I was as a joke. I was saying if I'm at the bar and I'm talking to a pretty lady and I'm like, "Hey, pretty lady," and we're having a great engaging thing, and I keep leaving to go to the bathroom to pee.
I don't think that's her first thought. I think it's,
Have a
he has a
well-trained-
small
a well-
bladder.
Or he's been drinking all these beers. Or
Yeah, like he's been drinking a lot of beer.
My big thing is like when I'm at the bar,
Mm-hmm.
let's just say like I have this sort of, I'm being responsible and putting the water in after
Mm-hmm.
every drink. For me, I haven't tried that yet, so I will have to try it. But for me, it's like after that second or third drink or whatever,
Yeah.
it's like the James that had any thought about like having water or eating properly or whatever. It's like that is gone. Like that
Yeah.
person has left.
Yeah.
Oh.
It's like lights are on, but no one's home kind of thing, And that's my biggest thing is I kind of get off to the races, and then in that, I think that's where like we can get a little dicey,
Yeah.
because you're not really thinking like, I guess clearly on
Like you're supposed
what
to.
I should be doing, and
Yeah.
and I always try to justify this like, oh yeah, I'm a bigger guy, so I can drink more, and it's
Ah.
okay, but it's
Yeah.
like
That's a
I do the
mistake.
same thing. I can handle it.
I can handle it, yeah.
I'm the worst at that because it's like, yeah, because you're preaching to the choir, and Sam can attest to that. I'm
He goes to autopilot. It's weird.
yeah, like
totally.
I get into his name's Hawaiian Bryan. It's almost like he's a whole different monster, and he
Right,
just
like
turns
Frank
into,
the Tank or whatever.
Yeah, oh my, it's scary, because like I've noticed throughout my life, I give myself these things when I'm younger. Like when I was like 13 or 14, my grandma used to ask me like, "What do you want to do?" And I'd be like, "I want to be a hobo," And then at one point in my life, I was a wanderer, like screwing around, living in the tents, like doing stuff. And I'm like,
Like
yo.
drifting.
Yeah, and I was like, oh snap! Like I'm a little too in control of what it is, and so like I've noticed like Hawaiian Bryan is sort of a repetition of that. Like he's sort of like a reverb.
Who
like,
as a kid goes, I want to be a hobo?
I don't know, as a joke. I swear to God, my grandma tells me that all the time. She's like, "Do you remember?" That's not how my grandma sounds. She's like,
Right, but yeah, man, that is. I mean, kids say kind of weird things sometimes.
I said I wanted to be an archaeologist.
No, at one point I was just like, I don't know. I think it was in that rebellious phase where everybody was like, you need to decide what to do, like, or just like, I don't know, like, what's your interest? And I was like, fuck you guys, I want to wander.
Yeah.
Like,
That's a very Bryan answer. Just the
pre-Hawaiian Bryan,
Yeah.
I guess Hawaiian Bryan is just the root of it all. But I guess what I'm saying is like I can really relate to that because I've had points where I've had close friends of mine like have to physically like beat me down and yeah,
To get control.
yeah, to just either knock me out or to get me to stop. And so it's such a struggle on my end, to kind of deal with that. But
see, I'm lucky. I don't have that.
You seem pretty well.
you went
even
through a little
keeled.
phase like back in the day where you were
Well,
all,
right, but
that was after your divorce. Like,
Yeah, but I just mean when I drink, I'm still me. But I'm me if I was angry before I started, I'm going to be angry drunk. If I'm happy, I'm going to be happy drunk. If I'm just normal, I'm a normal drunk.
Yeah.
Right.
Like, but I don't lose my...
You're not losing too many inhibitions or control.
Yeah, because you can't get me to go do something I wouldn't have done if I wasn't drunk.
Exactly.
That is true.
Yeah,
that
so-
is very true. I guess like for me the water thing is perfect until like you said you're 3 in and then the water isn't water anymore. You're just ordering another Jameson. And
Sure. Yeah. You're just not even really like I don't know.
You're like water. Everything's
And
water.
then, and then I punish myself the next day when I wake up. I have to go to the gym even if I'm hungover.
Totally.
And then that's when I'm hating life.
I got
That's
it. Yeah.
I mean, I guess that's the decent thing to do is like not just sit around in your bed all day and like pout or whatever, you know.
Which
Yeah.
let's not to say that I haven't been that hungover where I'm like I can't get out of my bed.
Stick in there.
and then you gotta order Postmates. Yes, Postmates. No, I'm joking. But yeah, I'm just checking everything on my side.
we
Let's
doing
go
a rant
back
corner?
a little bit. I want to talk. I guess like pre-LA. How long have you been in LA?
So I moved out to LA in 2004 and stayed until 2008. Then moved back to where I'm from, which is Washington D.C. Moved to Austin for a while, met my wife, and then moved back out here in 2016. So it's just kind of been like this.
Are you originally from Washington D.C.?
I'm originally from just outside of D.C. in
Shut
Fairfax.
up. Shut up.
Yeah.
I'm from Virginia.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
I'm a Hampton guy.
Oh, cool. Yeah.
Yeah, near the beach.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Holy
near the
shit, we're a
beach.
VA family.
Totally. Yeah.
Oh, wow. This
Yeah.
changes everything. This is more than just being Eskimo
Now you guys are
brothers.
gonna make love.
You know what I mean?
I lived
Like,
in Richmond for a while.
holy shit.
Grew
Except
up in Herndon.
he's more of you're like a Mason, like
Yeah,
like an
well,
actual like
So, yeah, like
What?
my last
Secret
name is
society.
My last name is Mason, and it's not that like there's no relation to the Freemasons, which you might have
Your
have
hair
heard.
really, yours pretty blonde.
Yeah.
Your eyes are pretty
But-
beautiful and deep and blue, homie. Like, that's how they get you.
Right? Just it's all lies. No, but yeah. So but yeah, I grew up in Herndon, which is right out of Fairfax.
Yeah, I wrestled all them schools when we went to States and shit.
Okay, cool. Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, that's amazing. How long were you out there?
So I grew up in DC or
Yeah.
surrounding suburbs.
Yeah.
Came to LA in 2004. Did 4 years in LA.
Around how old were you then? if you
I
don't
was
mind
from
me
like 17 to so
damn, that must have been
Damn,
fun.
you came out here when you were 17?
yeah.
That's baller.
Yeah.
What, were you just chasing the dream? Did you have any idea what you were
Well,
doing?
so I was in a band in high school called Nothing Special, and it was like basically like, you know,
the homies.
Kurt Cobain, and like, you know, we're really into like Bush and Foo Fighters and all that stuff. So it was one of those things where we try to follow our childhood sort of dream of like, I didn't play bass, you know, I didn't sing or anything, didn't do any of that, and we actually got a deal with Geffen. And I was like
Oh no shit.
Damn,
like
really?
Yeah, before I think now it's just Interscope, but they gave us like a demo deal. We did like 4 or 5 songs with Tom Panunzio. He's like an old school producer exec over at Geffen. But anyway, it kind of sucks because we had that opportunity. It seemed like we were making something happen, and then all of a sudden it just kind of dissolved. Like at that age, we were messing around, you know, drinking. No, this is like way different now than now. And drinking way too much and experimenting with drugs that we shouldn't have been, and then like
It's hard to
Living
keep
all
a group
you're
together.
17.
and all of a sudden, you know, it's
You're
like
from
I'm
DC.
on tweak and have been tweaking out for 2 years, and the record label is gone, and all of my girlfriend's gone, and it's like I'm just here, and I moved back because I realized that
Man, you did the Hollywood thing.
Yeah,
you did the VH1
That's
man.
awesome.
It was over.
That's awesome.
it was over. So and then went back to Virginia to kind of like collect whatever, you know, and moved to Richmond. Actually, getting back to what you're talking about with the sort of like 9 to 5 grind.
Oh, yeah.
I stumbled somehow into a job as a travel agent for a number of years, actually 8 years.
Wow.
And kind of used that to support myself. Of course, my parents and stuff had helped me along the way. But
At this point, you're 21 when you come back to Virginia?
yeah, and just kind of figuring out like what I got to do, and I kind of had that tough love where the family was like, you know, look, we supported you through this music thing. You kind of screwed it up, you know. You're gonna let everybody down, and we're not gonna, you know, like they were like, we're not. This isn't happening again, you know, sort of thing. And I understand, you know. So in Virginia, in Northern Virginia, where I'm from, I realized like moving back there as a 21-year-old was really actually quite depressing because all my friends had gone out to college and like
Oh yeah.
they had already done like they had basically like laid the framework for their lives, and they had moved on to like other towns, like you know, and so I was like, man, yeah, this isn't it. So I went down to Richmond, which is a little more like happening.
Yeah.
You know,
It's a little more hip. Like it's hip. It's the hipper
Yeah.
part of Virginia, you know, where you go to.
totally. And then I played in this pop punk band, which is like kind of embarrassing, but I played in this pop punk band called Safety Word Orange.
It's about to come up.
Called Yes Doubt.
And and
Yes,
that was one of those. That was one of those things where I was like, I had come from such a high place and like this thing in LA with this deal with Geffen and to like we're playing at these shitty clubs in Richmond, and like in kind of an embarrassingly bad pop punk group, and it was like I still kind of had that like, hey guys, what do you think about it? Check out this song, check out this band that I'm in, and you could just tell people like, this is whack, you know. Amazing. And it kind of just made me realize like, I was like, man, like, so I kept working on trying to make my music better, and eventually ended up back out here in 2016 with my wife.
You went to Texas first, though, right?
Yes, I met her in Austin.
How'd you meet her? What were you doing in Austin?
So the job that I had at the travel agency, there was like I went to one of the conventions in Vegas that every other year that I would get invited to, and I was talking to some people like my own age within my peer group at the company, because the company is based in Birmingham, but they have offices all over the U.S. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they were like, hey, you know, have you ever thought about maybe moving to one of the other offices? And I was like, well, like where, you know? And they said, you know, Austin's really cool and it's really young. And I did not know anything about Austin at this point. So I was like, you know, and it was like February and it was like freezing in Virginia. So I was like, let me just take it. Like I went there for an interview, and I was like, this is it. This is cool. I actually met my wife like the day that I pulled in for the or that I flew in for the interview, and she worked at this. This is kind of funny. She worked at a Rastafarian pasta inspired restaurant called Rasta Pasta. That is not a lie. You can't make that shit up.
That's Bob Burger level pun.
Yeah. So she did that, and anyway, we met, and I was kind of like the guy hanging out at the bar that she worked at / restaurant that she worked at, and then we just became really, really cool, close friends, and then started dating in April. But yeah, no. So I did that the 4-year stint in Austin. It was kind of like, you know, what you would consider like a, you know, college education, you know, amount of time, that 4 years, you know, and it, like for people that are thinking about Austin as a, you know, it's a great town, but like you are at this point maybe a little too late moving there, just because at one point I think it was like, I don't know, 300 families or something like that per day were moving to Austin. It was becoming this crazy, like, you know, the infrastructure could not support the amount of people wanting to move there. And
I heard after Katrina too.
It's a beautiful town. It's just as everybody's trying to move there, and it just kind of feels like, I don't know. It's just hard to move around. So you kind of get stuck in your little, you know,
4-block radius.
Exactly. So another thing people don't talk about, Austin, you know, besides it being like, you know, keep Austin weird, and, you know, there's a lot of weirdos and stuff. There are like intense allergies, like the cedar pollen, and there's like another one. It's like forget the name of it, but it is like it kind of makes you feel like you got the flu, but you don't. But you're like, in your head is like, I never really had allergies. I never really like had to take Xanax or Zantac or whatever the, you know, the not Xanax.
That'll cure a lot of stuff. I'm okay with this.
Feeling better. So, you know, long story short,
well, did you prefer Texas over Virginia?
You know, they're very similar in the sense that they're very proud peoples. You know, like people from Virginia or like DC are like, yeah, like fucking DC.
Damn,
you know?
Skippy.
And then same, but Texas, they're even more so. Very, very
Texas, fuck yeah.
They're proud. And they don't really even consider themselves really U.S. They consider themselves Texas.
Yeah, Republic of Texas, baby. Woo!
Yeah. I've noticed that about people from Texas.
That's cool.
Like they're like, no, we're #1 state.
Yeah, like basically they have like kind of a shitty attitude to other people. But it toughened me up a bit. Like I was.
Wait, is it Austin or Houston? Which is the one that is so hot and humid?
Houston.
Okay.
Yeah,
closer to the water, right?
Exactly, and it's I don't know if it's like kind of how like you were talking about Katrina. It's kind of like how New Orleans is, where like it's like
below the sea level.
It's a little bit, yeah. So it floods. Well, I think recently we saw, what was it, Houston a couple of years ago with the hurricane.
Yeah, that extreme
like,
flooding.
People were like swimming around in their living rooms. But anyway, yeah. So Austin was great.
Yeah, fuck you, nature.
It was weird, like trying to start a band like this kind of band, Paperjackets in Austin was super tough.
Because they're rock country.
They just want to get like stoned and like jam. Like that's the vibe. I mean, I'm sure there's are serious musicians. I know Spoon's from Austin. There's some serious musicians from that town, but they're not really trying to like go. You know, they're not. There's no goals. It's just like let's just. And then the ones that are doing it big, it's just the genre is a lot more like niche. It's not like it's definitely not pop. You know,
Right.
it's like this sort of
Mix.
yeah. Well. All I remember is it just was extremely hard for me to get the band.
Okay.
And that's a huge part of the reason why I moved to LA. I was like, I just got to like find people who are like-minded and who want to do this.
Right,
and who
right,
are
right.
like,
Don't just want to sit around.
And a lot of people
And-
come here for that.
right. And I like fucking around just as much as the next person. But to a point, it's like, what are we doing here?
What are we doing?
Yeah. So that
and
was
especially after, because this is amazing. I'm loving this because I didn't realize this was like a rise and fall. Like I didn't realize that you've
already
you
tried
hit
it.
it. Like
Yeah.
you were
Yeah.
at 17, you were living the dream at that point.
Totally.
You fall. You know, and like during your time in Virginia, were you still doing music at that 8-year span?
So yes, like I was like, when I got back from LA, I was still like convinced that I had what it took and I was gonna get back to where I was. And I was gonna
That's
move
right.
back
And you were
to
still
LA.
playing the gigs in RVA.
Yeah,
That's
and-
right. And-
yeah.
Oh, that wasn't my question. The question that I had was your transition from your Kurt Cobain style,
Right.
to let's say Paperjackets. Like, were you still jamming like Kurt or like doing sort of the Kurt thing like back in Virginia?
I think
or?
always like sort of been inspired by the 90s grunge alternative scene. But it became very clear to me, even like from when we were in LA with our band, that like that time had already come and gone. We were just too young and missed it.
Yeah.
But we were stoked like that, you know, like for me, like in 2001 or 2000, I was like 13 or so, or 14. So like Kurt Cobain had already been like long gone, but to me, I was just kind of getting into it, you know?
Yeah.
But you know, when you're 17, you aren't thinking like, oh, I'm gonna try to make my band a certain way so I can be current or you know whatever. You just like played what you liked or you played what you know like what you grew up listening to. And one thing to answer your question is like, it became very clear to me that this music was very dated and that nobody really like was gonna sign a band.
Yeah,
that was,
I heard.
like, sounded like that.
Yeah.
I listened to this interview about, remember the Vines, the Hives,
Right.
the White Stripes, and all that stuff.
That
It was
whole-
supposed to be a resurgence of rock and everything, and then it just petered out.
Right.
And there was I forget who it was. It was some music fucking historian, and was just like, no, we're never going to get a 4-piece group, guitar, bass, drummer, to hit that stratosphere again because all those sounds have been made.
Right.
Now we're doing it with electronics. There's effects.
Right.
There's extra little pumps, this and that. You know.
Yeah,
And
it cycles in and out. But yeah, you're right. Like the Vines and the biggest band, was it the Strokes?
Yeah,
with that?
they were the ones who really started it.
Yeah, I kind of was like, this is cool. Like when did this all of a sudden become like cool? You know. So yeah, it is cool. Like kind of like how you know real estate changes or the fashion changes or the economy changes. I feel like same with music. You know that it wouldn't surprise me if in the next 10 years, you know, grunge or 90s music comes back. And you're already kind of seeing a lot of 90s styles and a lot of, you know, sort of those flavors.
Like Greta Van Fleet came in, brought the 70s back.
Yeah.
Now we're seeing more 80s.
Oh,
and
fuck
little,
those guys.
you
And
know.
then, so you do get a little bit of that sort of the, like they said, like the 10-year wave
Yeah.
or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping, you know, we can get some more of that. I like the way I still write is just banging out power chords on an acoustic guitar.
Your writing has always been the same. At least that's what I've noticed. You come in with sort of. He was like, Ethan was like, well, it always generally sounds folksy when you come in
Right.
because you've done everything on acoustic.
Right.
And so. You know.
And then it's kind of his job to take that and like bring it to the 21st century or bring it to like, you know,
Yeah.
2019. Gosh.
And just so I don't butcher his last name again, God damn it, Ethan.
Yeah.
Ethan Kaufman,
Correct.
who has a bunch of credits. Most
Yeah.
impressively, worked with Avril Lavigne back in 2013
Yes.
as her guitarist in the studio. So
She was super nice. I met her.
that's
Yeah.
exactly right. Yeah.
Actually, yeah, she. Well, I don't want to talk about what
Next time I'm gonna print my notes out on paper. That way it looks like legit. You know what I mean? Like
Your what?
My notes on paper. That way I don't keep on looking at my phone.
Yeah, probably put them on note cards and have like a late night
So I can be like
vibe.
Leno.
It does feel very relaxed, and I think part of the looseness is cool. I think the just sort of like casual
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, sorry. We got
no,
used to
no,
this.
that's
lamp.
totally
I never
fine.
liked that lamp. You like that lamp?
I don't know why I like the lamp.
Sorry, we're like an old Jewish couple.
Oh, stop.
Couple of Jews.
But continue with the compliments.
Oh yeah.
But no, I think there's it's a kind of a nice. At least for me coming in as a guest, it feels calm and doesn't feel too like.
Well, that was
Yeah.
something I was going to ask you afterwards when we were not doing
Yeah.
all this. But yeah, like, what do you think?
Yeah, because
you
you've
know,
actually had some interviews with legitimate people, magazines and like
Sure.
up and comers, and so like it's cool but like now that I see you kind of in person, like and like you're very.
He's like, you ain't
you're
shit.
very- yeah, like you're very no. No, you're very calm, like and like you're not very showy. You're not like you're just like a very passive kind of guy, and like it resembles your lyrics to me kind of in that way.
Thank
and
you.
sort of like
Yeah,
the
no, you've
general
always been
music
chill.
and-
Ever since,
yeah, it's never like you're never like he was fighting people or doing like something
Yeah.
that I would.
I
do,
have
like,
some. Well,
know.
I'm not going to name names, but some of the people that I tattoo that I'm like, fuck me, I got to deal with this guy tonight. Like,
coming
he's
yeah,
intense.
and he'll
Yeah.
come home
All
and
right.
say it like you
Like
know
I
what
have to
mean?
drink 2 cups of coffee before this guy comes in, so I'm like, fucking, all right, here we go.
Yeah.
But with you, I'm always like, oh, hey, cool, James is coming. Like it's.
And it's very
Yeah.
cool,
I
like
hear
to
that.
hear that even from I guess your punk phase back at 17 or I
Right.
guess that sort of area, like you've maintained that songwriting style. Like you've always
Totally.
been plucking at the guitar. Like
Yeah. So interestingly enough, like the guy in high school that I basically learned songwriting from, his name's Chris Hall, and he, at the time, I think it was sort of like it was like very competitive. Like I was the bass player, and I kind of like knew my role at that time. But I was very fascinated about his ability to kind of put together these simple songs that were impactful. And we kind of worshipped like Kurt Cobain and these guys, and all their songs. We would try to learn their songs, and they really weren't that complicated. It's just like sort of the feeling and like sort of heart in it that we put into it. So I'm thankful that I got to kind of like learn from somebody who had been doing it a lot longer before me, and then have just basically been still doing the exact same kind of thing.
Yeah.
Just having people like Ethan and having the band and Emily and Johnny and David, it just makes it that much more like, polished or.
They bring things that you don't.
Right.
Everyone has a thing that they bring to it. Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't just sound like some guy in his room jerking off with a fucking
Hey-o.
guitar. You know what I mean? It's like
my first
Shout out to
album
Elliott
available-
Smith.
Oh, damn, you beat me. All right, you beat me. That's good.
Right.
He's dead though, isn't he?
Yeah.
he is.
Yeah, he stabbed himself, didn't
Twice.
Yeah.
he? Stabbed himself twice?
Well, the way I heard it is that like
You like murder?
What's-
real quick? I like murder. dog.
What's-
this is my jam right here.
what's interesting about Elliott Smith, from what I've read, is that when you traumatize your body like that, it like your nervous system will like go into autopilot and like shut you down, like because it's prioritizing like its own like it'll go into this sort of
Survival mode.
Yeah.
Okay.
And what's interesting about him is that he stabbed himself with a kitchen, like one of those like classic kitchen knives, like once, pulled it out and stabbed himself again, which they say, and I'm sorry if I'm misquoting the article or whatever, but they say that he really shouldn't have been able to physically do something like that, because the first stab
He should have been like,
he should have been like, his body should have just been like, no, fuck you, like get rid of this knife,
Yeah.
But he stabbed himself.
I heard
again.
it was
so you think his
girlfriend.
girlfriend did it?
Oh, was it his? Oh,
That's what I think.
What did you say? Did we say the same thing?
Yeah, we
Oh.
exactly said the same thing.
oh, okay. I must not say. I gotta
That's
do my
the
research.
rumor. Kind of like the whole
The Kurt and Courtney thing.
yeah.
Like, how could he blow his own head off with a boot on and
Tell him, bro.
or
Tell
whatever
him.
that?
I mean, you can kind of reach it.
You'd have
But
to
you
like.
would have to have your toe. You would have to have your toe out
No,
to
you
clip
can reach
on
it with your a rifle.
I guess you could like with your finger maybe all the way extended or something.
Maybe. What is he? Is he
Or-
Mr. Elastic?
We know he's left-handed.
Or that-
You know.
welcome back to the Kurt Cobain hour.
And so, and there was blood on the back of the stock.
Oh,
Sheep.
But I think, and again, he just shot up. What do you do after you shoot up?
oh,
Clean it up. And then
okay.
that was my
oh,
theory.
like his blood on his
Because
hands.
they're like, there's no way he could blow his own head off and blood gets on the back of the stock.
Right.
And I was like, he just shot up. you have blood. You get blood, and he could have wiped it, and
That's crazy.
yeah.
That's
Not that I know how to wipe up my own blood after injecting heroin.
And make sure that you guys
system.
check in next week. Our guest Courtney Love.
Oh, are you
will
good on
be-
time?
will be-
we want to wrap this up.
Yeah, I kind of have to run.
It's all good. It's all good.
I'm sorry,
Dude,
guys.
James, I really appreciate you coming by.
No, man. Thank
Yeah.
you, and thank you for all your support with voting the K-Rock thing. and,
that was
like,
fun.
Oh,
my
well,
pleasure.
yeah. Let's at least do that real quick.
I appreciate that.
Any plugs?
What
or
happened with
anything
that?
like
What happened?
or-
So, from my understanding, is that we got second that first week, and then the second week that we were on the site for the voting, we did not. That Billie Eilish girl, who's like a phenomenon. You know,
Yeah.
I think she got number one. Obviously, she's pumping it right now with her numbers, but we have kind of been just sort of in a good standing with that station. We were on some of their new music discovery.
That's awesome.
And have been pushing Trigger, so it's been really great.
It's alternative, right? The 93.7 or something.
So this is KRQ.
Okay.
1067, I think is the anyway.
Oh yeah.
But no, they've just been really supportive. Like all their locals only show. I think Kat Corbett does that, and she's been plugging the band. So I think what it is it kind of just gives smaller bands like a platform to kind of, so they'll vote you, and then you can like share it with all your friends so they can go vote. And it's basically just it's a promo thing for the station.
That's
promo for
awesome.
the artist, so.
No, it's really cool to hear like that you're actually getting like traction. Like you
Yeah.
said, now that you have sort of the re-release.
I was excited for
and-
you guys when I saw you post and Emily post, like when you guys were on the radio, like on the radio. I was
Yeah.
like, oh shit, that's awesome.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
we're on some heavy rotation, actually on like a handful of stations across the U.S. right now.
Yeah.
They're doing the alt radio push.
Where are
so-
you big? Or where
So
where's
the Sacramento has been the biggest.
Nice.
Is there anything out of the country? I'm gonna rush through my
this is
questions.
just like we are just servicing right now. It's alt.
Okay, cool.
Alternative. I know there's a couple active rock stations who are considering playing it, or if they're not already playing it, which is different. Active rock is like bands like Godsmack and Disturbed. But
That'd be interesting to hear you guys.
We'll
on that.
see. We have a song. Well, the EP title track, "Don't Lose Your Head," it's kind of a little more
it is
intense, and we played it live at this sort of radio programmers only event, and there's a couple of them that were like, "Oh, we'll play that." It could totally go on the station.
Yeah, and the EP itself, like each song is different. Like each song is like I said, you go from 1985, which is like, in my opinion, a very country like
stripped down.
Yeah, it's like very Jennings like, and then you go to like "Don't Lose Your Head" and like, and then you bounce back to "Trigger" and like it's almost like the perfect EP to push out to people. You know what I'm saying? But let's clean this up real quick. Thank you so much for coming
guys.
by.
Thank you, James.
Let's see, you're going to be at the Mint April 1st.
Correct.
By the time this come out, if you are local in LA or manage to find us, go check them out. I'm certainly going to try. Keep an eye out for the EP Don't Lose Your Head, available pretty much on everything from
Yes.
the way I understand it. Final thoughts, anything else that you want to ask?
No,
real quick?
man, I'm excited. Thank you, James, for coming by. You let me
you,
know
guys.
whenever you
On
want to come back in and get some more work.
On
Would
the
love
chair.
to. Yeah. Well.
Yeah, thank you so much, man. Guys, thank you for downloading us, episode 10. Make sure to rate us online. Make sure that you guys comment, and make sure that you guys just fucking stick around.
All right.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right. This, that, and the other. Dream the dream of 1,000.
Thank you, guys.